Welcome everyone. Today I'm going to discuss about some of the important point about leaderships, and leadership is very important right now because resilient can help us to grow our economy. Resilient can grow to help our sustainability and everything. For that particular issues, if we have to focus on this specific point, that leadership can help us, and and specifically. Uh, Leaderships actually help us to grow our different kind of factors. So there are some sort of summary and other things about leaderships. If we go for the summary of leadership activities, X team sharing, the last 2 weeks, summary team reflections, Swan team, your role as the long LGO, legacy plan, fall leadership activities. If you focus on the curriculum, you can find Bill LGO2 cohort, develop a learning environment, provide grounding for understanding leadership competencies, provide practice field for distribute leadership within the summary teams, create a form for learning to lead over the next 2 years. If we focus on leadership foundations, we can find leadership characteristics, traits or values or ethics equals to sustainable leaderships. If we focus on the distributed leadership, you can find leading or following, leaders' capabilities, understanding the situation or stakeholder, sense making or relating, motivating and leading changing, visionary or implementing, tools or technique, active listening, team's role, self-awareness through reflection, personal leadership journal, practice, practice, individual leadership plans. So if you have these kind of things, specifically your practice, your leaderships, your wrestling qualities, understanding the situation and stakeholder, motivation and changing factors, it will help to grow your economy, and by this way you can grow your economy in an effective way. Share how you will survive the last 2 weeks. Leaders or followers role within your teams. Team processors. What did not. Feedback from LRC observe. The group that were the most successful in completing the LRC task on time were the group that had one or more stand out or autocratic leaders. Interestingly, sometimes the standout leader was not the appointed leader for the iterations. Often these standout leaders were able to assimilate the observation, warning, suggestion from the individuals in the team, then make a firm decision on a single source of action and focus the team energy on completing the task through the one course of action. Once the team got moving, these leaders also providing distractions management to keep the team focused, made consecutive decision as more information about the problem was discovered, and consistently communicate guidelines to rest of the team so that each individual know his or her role in the solution. Conversely, a team who did not complete the task on time seems not have one or more of the standout leaders. Often they would expended 75% of their allotted time in formulating a solution to the LRC task, leaving very little times to make actual progress is applying the solution. Summer team. Think about the following question individual for 5 minutes. Then as the teams take 25 minutes to prepare one flip card to share, we have to understand what do I want to carry forward to new teams? What will I practice, improve, master, become an artist? What do I want to leave behind? What will I get rid of, not repeat? Then what wish I had done. In the last 11 years, I have really come to appreciate that having a better understanding of myself is key to being a leader. I think this is some core the caught up in the doing coursework related activities, example project, homework, thesis, etc., to take on informal leadership roles that would have improved the LGO community. Some of my classmates did a better job with this, and I think they got a lot out of it. I wish I had have spent more time building network, both within LGO and the broader MIT community. Understand my own personal style and strength more fully. I think one thing that I have learned as a leader since LGO is that leaders need to listen. LGO is so full of A type personalities that listen is something is short supply. So I guess the one answer is that I wish I would have listened more. So we need to listen more from our followers. If I have one recommendation, it would be to show somehow force people to get more involved. While the classwork is indeed important, I feel they miss out on some greater learning, including a lot of networking practice. I wish that we would have had a chance to really, I mean really, give each other some thought feedback. We need to discuss the unmentionable with each others, things that are not polite or easy to discuss but which could pose serious threat to our career and leadership ability. This includes work habits, language, style, technical skill, etc. We need to discover and understand our weakness in the relatively safe environment of LGO so that we can have time to work on them. LGO is essentially a risk-free environment for learning more about one's leadership style, and I did not take advantage of the opportunities available. So beside that, we have to understand how to transfer from one team to another. So consider how your newly team will different in the comparison suitable context. You will build LGO MBA team on OP, communication, team project, first year challenge, etc. MBA similar to different from LGO. They may expect you to be expert summer at MIT engineer. They may think you are pampered with tuition break, class office, etc. In what way do you want to be specials or one of them? What do you want to from them to give them? Steve Jobs. Lesson 1. Drop out of school and calligraphy class. Impossible to connect the dots looking forward. Have to trust the dot will connect in the future. Fired by Apple board. Listen 2. You have got to find what you love doing. Lesson 3. Cancel. Listen. Do not be trapped by dogma. So legacy projects basically LGO community activity, CLFM, knowledge sharing, international or domestic plan cricket, admission on new partner, mentoring underground use, volunteer service to the community, sustainability, healthcare, entrepreneurship, charity fundraise. Field midterm review, joint leadership session with intents, program speakers, problem for leadership lessons, one-to-ones, LGA alumni mentor, leadership lab, plan preparations one-to-one with Jan. Learning to lead. Most important thing is that we need experience and meaning. Experience preserving, self-insight, perspective coachings, preparing values, learning style, coaching. Experience is not so much that what happened to you as what you make of what happened to you. So you are a network that connect the MBA teams. Collectively, you have your fingers on the push of school more than the staff, faculty, etc. It is a great resources and service to a salons. So this is one of the specific way that how we can learn and we can grow our team in an effective way. So we can learn more about this leadership part, which will help us to grow our economy, which is help us to grow our effectiveness in an effective way. So if we focus on this journey of leadership things, LGO leadership vision and roadmap, leadership perspective. So history, student initiated, viewed by the governing bodies or operating committee as pivot or essential LGO. Skill development, we need tools and framework, result knowledge. So skill development, practice and reflections. LGO leadership curriculums. Integrated into the fabric of the program. Build upon your experience, support mutual learning from each others, focus on implementation and making things happen. So grounded in the solid theoretical foundation translated into practice, multiple opportunity to practice leadership, built upon LGO utilization research, shaped by leadership committee based on student feedback. Your active participation is the key in shaping your leadership experience. How important is the L is LGO to your personality? What do you personally want to take away from your LGO leadership experience? Leadership reflections from prior classes. In the past, I believe that some people were naturally leaders and others were not. LGO taught me that leadership is not that different from any other skills. You have to practice to get better. This sounds so simplistic, but the idea of actively trying to improve my leadership skill instead of just hoping that they improve on their own over time was actually a new idea to me. So in the leaderships committee there are different type of factors that we have to understand, and different kind of challenge we have to understand, that all students will challenge themselves to develop their leadership potential through experimenting and growing outside their comfort zone and leaving a suitable legacy. Leadership reflection from prior classes. I did not approach LGO as an opportunity to learn leadership. In fact, I explicitly decided that I was not getting to work on leadership while in program. I was in the camp of leadership cannot be learned. I assume I had enough experience and I did not see a lot of relevance to my learning objective. This was a terrible perspective for me to take. The framework that I now have at my disposable, the action skill I have developed, the reflection that this time has afforded, and the guidance through this process that the leadership curriculum has provided has made me a better human. I will draw from this experience for the rest of my life. So for the leadership things outside the formal educations, like outside the inside the formal educations, we can introduce the idea of planting tree using ordinary peoples and a Nobel Peace Prize. So backgrounds like there are different kind of leadership factors and people actually come to these activities. So in this leadership factor, I we can say I'm very conscious of the fact that you cannot do it alone. It's a teamwork. When you do it alone, you run the risk that when you are not no longer there, nobody else will do it. So historical perspective of leadership, personal characteristics and value, individual attributes and trait, no necessarily hard words, reflect lifetime experience and development, one moral codes. Suitable leadership, critical situation provide an opportunity to for leaderships to be tested and displayed. Different situation call for the different kind of leaderships. So there are many different factors. Transformation leaderships, we can understand that spur follower towards vision and goals, build trust between leaders and followers, develop creative solution to problem, coach and mentor fellow, leading changes. Beside that, we're sense making, visionary inventing. So there is a model. So a model is the set many types and sorts of data, involve other in your sense making. Do not simply apply your existing frameworks and overlay them on the situation. Move beyond stereotype, learn from small experience, use images, metaphors, and stories. Understand the perspective of others within the organizations. Encourage others to voice their opinions. Be clear about your stand and how you reach it. Think about how other might react to your idea. Think about your connection. So these are the many important visionary and the sense making fictions actually come. So leading changes system implies you are change agent, unintended development activities, as well as there are some organizational factor. Let's say organizational assumption, what we see, how we see, what we do about what we see, as well as we have to miss signals, misinterpretation, flow analysis, application of the wrong solutions, and for outside, not blinded by international cultural assumption, see mismatch between current approaches and not the root cause of problem, understand cultural interdependency, possess organizational credibility, leverage the existing cultures. So by this way, by background as a biological scientist and daughter of a peasant framework provide the sense for growth and long-term commitment to the environment, looking beyond the ride of the Rift Valley. So for the summary, individual characteristic and suitable situational leadership, leading and follow, distributed leadership, team process, transformational leadership, leadership development plan, leadership and ethics, leadership in actions, Many of the important factors reflect on what leadership means to you personally, assessment of your leadership strength and development, identification where your passion lies and the legacy, being to formulate a projects, analyze and evaluate your team performance, meet summer peer to film feedback. These are the many important factors we can learn, we can understand, we can focus, we can grow, and we can build our leadership factors. And if we grow these things in an effective way, that time we can understand that leadership can play a major role in 21st century. Even in coded situation, we have to understand more about this point. Thank you everyone for joining today's sessions. If you have any kind of questions, you can ask me. Thank you.